Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to my countdown of the IMDb Top 50 out of 250. Today we're on number 45, which is Apocalypse Now, one of my all-time favorite movies. So Apocalypse Now came out in 1979, and it's directed by Francis Ford Coppola, yes, the guy that did The Godfather, and it stars Martin Sheen, Robert Duvall, and Marlon Brando, and it's based off the book Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad, which came out in 1899. So it's an old story. I actually read Heart of Darkness after I had heard about the film, and then after I read it, I watched the movie. I liked the movie better because they read the book in AP something class. It's like hard stuff at my high school. Anyway, alright, so the plot is we have Martin Sheen's character, Captain Willard, and Captain Willard is in Saigon. It takes place in the Vietnam War, and he is assigned to go and exterminate, with extreme prejudice, one Colonel Kurtz, played by Marlon Brando, who has set himself up as a god amongst a local Cambodian tribe, and we get some really trippy imagery and surreal experiences as we follow Willard down this river into the Vietnamese jungle, into Cambodia throughout the Vietnam War, and we meet some colorful characters along the way. It's a really, really weird movie, but it is really good. I think it's the best war movie ever made. Now, the performances. The acting, for the most part, is good, but there's nothing really stand out about Sheen's or Brando's performances. Yes, they're excellent in their roles. Yes, they have a very good script to work with and all of that, but they don't really stand out. One character that does stand out is Robert Duvall's Colonel Kilgore. That is an actual character's name, and he has probably one of my favorite movie quotes of all time, where he says, "I love the smell of napalm in the morning." That's an actual line from the movie, and he's great. He has great lines. He has that one. He has Charlie Don't Surf, where they bomb a Vietnamese village, and then they land on the beach, and they're trying to get this one of their soldiers, who's a surfer back in the United States, to, they have Huey helicopters all along the shore so that this guy can surf. It's very, very strange. It's a very weird movie, and I think a lot of people might say that me calling it the greatest war film of all time isn't really justified because it's not really a war film. I've said this before. The war is the backdrop for the story of Willard's journey to find Kurtz. It's not like Platoon or Saving Private Ryan, where it's about the war and the experiences of people in the war. This is a good story that just happens to take place during the war. It's different than those other movies. That's what sets it apart from other war films, and that's why I think it's the best, but, you know, to each their own. It can be, the opinion can be disputed over, is I think the best way that I can say it. And this film also has a lot of iconic moments, one of which is probably the most famous, where they're in the helicopters and they start to play Ride of the Valkyries. You know, da 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 da. Yeah, that one. They play that as they're shooting at the village. It's a strange movie, but it's not a comedy at all. It's really dark, and it gets really dark as it goes on. And that brings me to something that I really wanted to discuss in this review, and that is the struggles of filming this movie. I actually have a quote from Francis Ford Coppola right here. I'm sorry, I'm reading it off my phone, but he says, "We had access to too much money, too much equipment, and little by little, we went insane." This is one of the most troubled film productions in history, if not the most troubled. First off, a typhoon destroyed the set when they started filming. But, alright, go back earlier. Francis Ford Coppola arrives in, I believe it was not Vietnam, it was by Vietnam. I think Cambodia. He arrives in Cambodia with a half-finished script and just hopes that everything will go well. He originally wanted Al Pacino for the role of Captain Willard, but he said, "No way, you'll have me in the jungle for 5 months, sweating, and it'll be terrible." Shooting took, I think, 16 months. They were shooting this for over a year, and Coppola shot over 2 million feet of footage. 2 million feet of movie. He lost 100 pounds during the production. Martin Sheen had a heart attack, and as a result, his brother Emilio Estevez had to fill in for him and do the voiceovers. And not to mention that Marlon Brando shows up on set, 80 pounds overweight, never read the book, Heart of Darkness, which is what it's based on. My phone is ringing, I'm turning it off. Problem solving. Yeah, but Marlon Brando, he lost 80 pounds he showed up on set 80 pounds overweight. He hadn't read the book Heart of Darkness, he hadn't read the script, and insisted that changes be made to the script so that he would have to do less work while he was filming. In fact, one of his most famous lines, "You're not a soldier, you're an errand boy sent by grocery clerks to collect a bill," which is a really cool line, was actually improvised. That was not in the script. It's a very good line, but everything that went on in this film during the filming of this movie was not right. It's insanity. However, it has been very influential. I touched my nose again. I'm sorry. People have said that I touch my nose too much. Off track. But the influence has been quite strong, especially actually in the medium of video games. Two very well-received, well-liked games, Spec Ops: The Line and Far Cry 2. They weren't exactly very well-received, but they were pretty well-received. Both draw heavy influences from Heart of Darkness and Apocalypse Now. Far Cry 2 takes place in the Congo, in Africa, and there is a scene where you are on a boat going down the Congo River that very much echoes Heart of Darkness, and Spec Ops: The Line is a modern military take on the story in which the character of Colonel Kurtz is replaced with a man named John Conrad, a nod to Joseph Conrad, the writer of Heart of Darkness. That takes place in modern-day Dubai and deals with the ambiguity of good and evil, as well as, what does it really mean to go to war, the cost of war, all of that stuff. Very dark stuff, but very, very good stuff. It is a great game. You can actually watch me play it on this channel. I have a playlist of it. And I've never played Far Cry 2, but I've heard it's pretty good. I've heard it's very difficult. But, yeah, that's that. As far as whether or not it deserves its place on the top 250, I'm going to have to say yes, for sure. This is definitely a great film. I would honestly rank it higher. This is one of my favorite movies. I've only really seen it once, and I haven't seen the Redux. That's something I have to bring up. The Redux was a re-edit that added something like 41 minutes of footage to the original film, which runs over 2.5 hours, so it's a long movie, and that's considered the definitive edition of the film. I've not seen the Redux. I've actually seen in reviews, don't watch the Redux, it's not as good as the original, so I stuck with that. I watched the original, and it's now one of my favorites. I actually am going to read Leonard Alton's review of Apocalypse Now, not the Redux, because I pretty much just said it, but, yeah. Apocalypse Now, he gives it 3.5 stars, so he clearly enjoyed it. Let's see. Coppola's controversial Vietnam War epic based on Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness. Special Agent Sheen journeys upriver into Cambodia with orders to find and kill Errant Officer Brando, leading him and the viewer on a mesmerizing odyssey of turbulent, often surreal encounters. Unfortunately, the film's conclusion, when he does find Brando, is cerebral and murky. Still a great movie experience most of the way, with staggering Oscar-winning photography by Vittorio Storaro. Looking for Coppola's cameo as a TV crew director, revised and reissued in 2001, the documentary Hearts of Darkness, a filmmaker's apocalypse, chronicles the film's production, and it's in Technovision and it's rated R. Okay, lovely. That's another thing I want to touch on. There is a documentary on the making of this film that was made by Coppola's wife. She documented all of the footage, or a lot of footage, during the making of the film, and that was made into a documentary called Hearts of Darkness, which really does chronicle the turbulent series of events that went on while filming, and as far as the controversy goes, there is this is a bit of a spoiler, minor spoiler, but there's a scene towards the end of the film where there's a tribe that's doing a ritual sacrifice of a water buffalo, and you see it get killed. It is a real water buffalo, and Francis Ford Coppola actually insisted on getting like a truck full of water buffaloes to have killed. As he said, little by little, they went insane. But this is a truly great movie, and as far as what Leonard Alton said about the ending, I'm not going to discuss it. I want you to come up with your own thoughts and interpretations on the ending of the film. I want you to tell me what you thought. So, whatever you thought, comment below. And I will see you guys next time, which will actually be in a week. There will be no videos next week because I can't make videos next week because of reasons. But next Tuesday, in 2 Tuesdays, so not next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after that, we will be reviewing The Departed, which is a review that I'm actually looking forward to doing. So we are going to review that next time. And until then, enjoy. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And I will see you in the next episode. Peace out. I won't do that. I'm gonna turn it off. I'm sorry. That was bad. Turning off the camera. Adios.